second for everything to update. Got a few things to talk about this week. Just getting in the chat, setting that up for live chat. Shelly Fish, first one here. Good to see you. Jupiter One, Matt F. And Matt F. talking about how much wood could a woodchuck chuck if a woodchuck could chuck wood. And he must be talking about some manzanita wood. That's from the last live stream. Anyways, guys, Friday night, it's been a good week. Couple things new on the website. I feel like, is this video good? Yeah, I don't know. Seems alright. Just so you guys know, I added Crypt Wendetti Green to the website, and that's a plant that I've had for a few months, and it was just an oversight on my part that I forgot to make it active on the website. So I do have those plants and Crypt Wendetti Reds. And with the crypts, a new thing I'm doing is sizes now, because I have multiple sizes of crypts, and some of these crypts are growing out almost a year now. It's a lot of time invested in some of these plants, and it's not like they're crazy more expensive. It's just, maybe a small one $6 and the big one's $10 or something like that. I don't know the pricing right off the top of my head, but there is size options. So a small plant's going to be basically a potted plant, and everything's either potted or loose now, because I am starting to propagate plants out and making new plants. So I started going through and changing the descriptions, because it used to be all potted. Well, now you could get what they call bare root, or I just call it loose plants. It's basically a plant like these Amazon swords. I'm growing them in a tank, and I'm pulling them out and then bagging them and sending them to you guys. But Crypt Wendetti Green's new on the website. It's in 2 sizes, I believe, or maybe it's only in 1 size right now, but the Crypt Wendetti Reds are in 2 sizes for sure. And then the other plant, which is a plant I've had for the longest time, and it's commented a lot when I go out in the fish room, is pearlweed. It's in one of those 20 long tanks that's in the flow-through rack system. It's the one I'm floating. It's carpeting the whole tank, and remind me here in a bit, and I'll take you guys out there and show you the pearlweed. But I always get a comment on any video that plant's in. Somebody's always asking me, what plant is that? It's just pearlweed floating on the surface. So part of the plant kind of comes up out of the water and is growing immersed, so it gets like super light green. It's very bright. It looks awesome. And then under the water is submerged grown pearlweed, and it just kind of floats. It's actually pretty thick. I'm pretty sure, well, I don't know about this mug, but I could set a regular coffee mug on top and it would float. It's getting pretty dense. And I was like getting ready to cut it. I'm like, man, why is this not on my website? Duh. So pearlweed is now on the website. If anybody's looking for it, it's going to be straight from that tank. So it's going to be probably half immersed, half submerged grown. And then you can either float it like I am, or you can plant it. Technically, it's a stem plant, and it's kind of like baby tears as far as looks, but you can plant it, and when it's from Lucas Brett's, is where I sourced that plant from, and when he was here at my house, he actually just took a rock, and he took the pearlweed and just stuck it underneath a rock, and that's how it all kind of started. And as it grew, I took some out and put it in other tanks, but it does really well for me as a floater. I think Lucas uses it in like all different sorts of forms, but for me it does best, at least in my fish room, as a floating plant, and it just looks pretty awesome. So that's the other thing that's new on the website. I think I did a members video, or members live stream last weekend. That might be where the wood came from. But I was talking about products. So the first thing is the 614 salt is going to be a 2-pound bag. I don't know if I mentioned this Friday, but it's going to be a 2-pound bag, not a 1-pound bag. This is 2 pounds right here. Just waiting on labels for that. I guess I could sell it without a label until the labels get here if anybody's in a dire need of aquarium salt. And then the other thing is the root tabs. This week, I changed the formula on them. So I've been, I made the original root tabs. Here's all the ingredients and how I broke it down. And I was playing around with it. and you know that's been. I feel like it's been a couple months now, but I felt like I had too much calcium in the root tabs, so I changed the formula. Now I'm on the next version, if you will. I haven't been selling these. This is just strictly R&D, if you will. But I changed it to where it's got more potassium in it and more micro and macro nutrients. So we're going to test it out. This is the package of how, you know, eventually once I get the formula where I like it, this will be the package. It's a package of 25. Oh, I hear the dogs. But it'll be like this in a package of 25. Anyways, I think Mike, my buddy Mike's going to take some to test it out on his plants. And I actually still have to, I just made them the other night. So I still got to try it out on these Amazon swords and see how they do. But I hope everybody's week's been going good. I'm excited for this weekend. I get to go up to Ohio Fish Rescue tomorrow, and I get to stay the night. And that's all because my parents are back home from Florida. It's been, I feel like it's been a few months since I've seen them, so I'm going to see them tomorrow and be like, welcome back. By the way, here's my dogs. I'll see you tomorrow, right? So they're going, I already talked to my mom. She's going to watch Havana and Charlotte tomorrow and tomorrow night, and then I'll pick them back up on the way home. That's the other nice thing is I basically passed my parents' house going to Ohio Fish Rescue, so it's kind of like on my way, drop the dogs off, and then pick them back up. So super appreciative that they're watching the dogs tomorrow. And this whole OFR thing, you guys probably know more about it than I do. Joe Rockwell reached out to me a couple nights ago and was like, hey, am I going to see you this weekend? And I was like, I don't know. Are you coming to Columbus? Like, what's going on? He said a bunch of people are heading up to OFR. I was like, oh, didn't know anything about it. He's like, oh, Big Rich said that he told you. I was like, nope. And like 2 minutes later, Josh texts me about it. So I know, all I know is the metalheads, I was about to say the metalhead primes. The metalheads are there, Joe, and then I got in late to the OFR live stream, and I saw that there were some other people there that I didn't know who they were. I saw Zach, SC Fishkeeping was there, which I didn't know he was there. I hope everybody that's there tonight will be there tomorrow when I get there. I'm going to try to get up early tomorrow, but I made a mistake, guys. I made some leaded coffee tonight, and I'm just pretty pumped up because it's been a good week. I had no fish orders that died this week. No plants went in or arrived like beat up or anything. All the hard goods have been going out with no issues. Work was smooth this week, other than today was really slow. It was the slowest day we've had in a long time. And to be honest, it was kind of nice being like it was real relaxed. It was quiet. The downside is not getting paid. If I don't work on any cars, I don't get paid. So that kind of sucks. But it was relaxed, kind of a chill environment. So yeah. So it's been a good week. I'm glad to see everybody else that's in here. Rescue Dog Treats, good to see you. Vanya, I gotta do a shout out to Von Yenzer. Von Yenzer is a big supporter of my channel. He is a member of the channel. He super chats, does all this awesome stuff for me. And then he even went another step up and beyond. And he knew I was having issues with my faucet, and I don't have the old one anymore. I think I threw it away. And where he works, they deal with these faucets, and he was able to send me a replacement that was a direct bolt-on. And Von Yenzer, I meant to send you a picture. I did put it on. It screwed right on. And I didn't swap the parts over. You're talking about swapping the stuff over. I just used the one you sent me. It was a close enough match that I was like, I'm just using this whole thing. And thank you so much for sending me that faucet. My guest bathroom is back up and running. So if I ever have a guest that needs to take a shower, they are able to. And really, the guest bedroom is actually used for this girl, or guest bathroom. That's where the dogs get their baths. So Charlotte doesn't know. She can't hear me talking about it, but she's going to be getting a bath probably when she comes back from her grandma's house on Sunday. But you're looking at me. You should look at the camera. Can you at least look at yourself in YouTube? Oh, see? Oh, no. She's not listening to me, guys. But anyways, thanks, Von Yenzer. I appreciate it so much, buddy. Fix your collar. Oh, and I found... So, Charlotte's got this thing about if her collar comes off, she eats them. It started as a puppy when her and Havana would, I call it neck wrestling. Havana would grab her collar and pull her around the house. Well, eventually they would like slip off, right? And then I would get home and I would find the metal pieces to the collar and like the dog tags, but no collar. And so I pretty much figured she was eating them. This is her like fourth collar. Anyways, the other day, I lost the remote to the TV, and it's always in the same spot, so I had no idea where it went. And so I ended up flipping the TV over, or the TV over. I ended up flipping the couch over to see if it like somehow fell down in like the frame, and I found one of her collars. I think she stuck it down in the cushions, and then eventually it fell down into the frame. And you could say, hey, like maybe it just fell off and it's random. No, she's actually pretty smart about hiding things. Anytime she gets a toy and she does not want Havana to have it, especially a bone, I've caught her red-handed. She'll push the toy or the bone into the corner of the couch and like just stomp it until it disappears. She basically like digs a little hole in the couch. But yeah, so I think I'm squirreling right now. Oh, and Von Yinzer wrote squirrel on the side of the package he sent me. And what was funny was I opened my door and the box was sitting there, and all I see is squirrel, and there's no label on top, no shipping label. So I'm like, somebody just hand delivered a box to my house and wrote squirrel. So that means it's one of you guys. I'm like, who just dropped a package off at my house and wrote squirrel on it? So I was kind of like, I paused. I was like, do I have a stalker? What's going on here? And then, I kind of went like this with the box. I'm like, there's no shipping label. Like, somebody dropped this off at my house. And I'm like, it's not a mispackage. Like, it says squirrel on the side, so I know it's to me. And then I finally flipped it all the way around, and then there was the label. And I was like, oh, I know what this is. But, Von Yinzer, you got me for a second. But thanks again, buddy. As always, if you have any questions, make sure you tag me at SC Aquatics, and that way it will stand out, and I can read the question quicker. Below Gaming says, curious, what is the thing at the right of the tank? If you're talking about this, is that showing up? If I'm not blocking it. This thing right here, if that's what you're talking about, this is a spawning mop. It's supposed to be floating. There's a cork, and that's why it's upright, but it's not at the surface, because one of the plants, one of the Nubius, delodged itself. I did a big water change, and I think I stirred everything up, and one of the plants got uprooted from the sand, and it kind of got stuck in the mop. Well, the roots grew like into the mop and then into the sand, so it's actually being anchored by a Nubius plant. It's actually probably blocked by these boxes. Oh, that's the other thing, guys. Lots of breeding going on this week. So I don't know if it has something to do with the weather, which, people say that weather has a huge effect on fish and breeding because of the atmosphere pressures and stuff like that. But this week, we've had some crazy weather here in Ohio. It literally, one day could have been 70 degrees, and the next day we had 2 inches of snow. No joke, that was maybe Tuesday. Woke up and there was 2 inches of snow on the ground. Got home from work. This is no lie, no exaggeration. I almost cut my grass. It went from 2 inches of snow to sunny and like 60-something degrees to where I was like, man, if the grass was still like a little wet, but there was no snow on the ground, and if the grass was completely dry, I would have cut it that night. That weather shift was horrible, which I'm glad the snow didn't stay for a long time, but when it goes from like 60 to 20 to 60 to 20 every single day, that's how you get a cold really easily. So yeah, I hope that's what you're asking about on the right side of the tank. That's a spawning mop. That's actually yarn with a cork, a wine cork at the top to make it float. It's supposed to be on the surface, but it's just kind of anchored right now. Matt F. actually answered it, but yep, he is correct. Texas Fish Room, good to see you. Alright, trying to scroll through. IHSP said, did I miss a members only live? I think I did one Sunday IHSP. Unless it was the last Friday I was talking about the wood. I don't know. I'm a little confused when I was talking about the wood, the Manzanita wood. Could have been last Friday or it was Sunday. I don't know when I did the member stream. They're random. IHSP said, "Congrats on your good day/week. It's so nice to get those once in a while." Yes, and the good news doesn't stop there. So, with the whole weather thing I was talking about, well, the reason I brought that up is everything's breeding right now. So as of this week, I got fresh Guppy Fry in my kitchen fish tank, which is the outdoor pond guppies. A ton of baby fry in there, and I've been feeding them the instant baby brine, the 614 instant, the decapsulated baby brine. That's the tank I'm testing it on, and even the fry are eating it. And I need to get a video. I need to scrape the tank of algae so that way the video comes out better. But I need to get a video because it's awesome because you can actually see the bellies. Since the fry are so small, you can see their bellies get big. So it's like a good proving point of the instant baby brine. I hear you. I hear you barking. Come here. She's deaf, so I gotta do sign language. Just means come here. But yeah, so it's doing well. So I still want to use it for a while, make sure everything's good before I officially release it. But that's another product that will be here very shortly. So it's not only the guppies that have been breeding this week, the L107 plecos. So I may have posted a picture to the community page. I found some eggs over here on the side. Well, two days ago or 3 days ago, and I actually got it on video. I saw some breeding behavior in one of the new pleco caves I put in there like a month ago. I've got smaller ones because I felt like the bigger ones were just a little bit too big, and I could have swore I saw a tail sticking out of the cave and a male was backed into the cave. And I'm like, man, I think that male's pinning that female in there. And then that was, I think, maybe Tuesday night. Wednesday on my lunch break, I came home, I grabbed my flashlight, and I look in that cave, and there's eggs. So I got super excited about that because I only got one baby in that tank so far. And I've had these guys for a long time. And then last week, I got the eggs kind of randomly. I'm guessing they might have got kicked out of one of the caves, and that's how I just found them in the sand. I didn't pull them. I'm just letting nature do its thing. And then same thing with the cave. I'm just letting nature do its thing. I'm not pulling them because I want to see if they'll hatch and if they'll breed again. Because the male is in there right now. He's fanning the eggs, and so I'm gonna just let him do his thing, and we'll see what happens. But I'm super stoked for those because that's I still Google search that L107. And there's only a couple websites that list them for sale, and they're always not in stock. So it's still a pretty rare, it's not super rare, but it's a pretty rare pleco in the aquarium hobby, just for the fact that it's hard to get. And I'm sure somebody will call me out and be like, oh, you can get those all day long here. But if you Google it, they're not super common. But they're doing good. I just put a pleco cave in my glow light tetra tank, because the bushy nose plecos, they're calicos, have bred in that tank. They actually laid right on the silicone. So I decided to give them a cave so they actually breed in a cave, and if I want to pull them, I'll pull them. But I just did that tonight. So we'll see what happens with that. Maybe they're already in the cave, but I'm assuming they'll probably won't really explore the tank until tonight when the lights go out. But we'll see what happens. It's also another one of the big caves. It might be too big for them, but I figure if they're laying eggs on silicone, they'll use a big cave. But we'll see. Alright, where am I at? Let me try to catch up to you guys. We have over 50 people watching. Good to see everybody. If you're new here from Ohio Fish Rescue, Big Rich has been awesome for forever about trying to plug my channel, get some new content to you guys and some new subscribers to me. hit that subscribe button if you will, and if you like this content, hit the notification bell. So, you know, everybody always says hit that subscribe button and the notification bell. Look, I need the subs. I'll be honest with you guys. If you don't like me, just don't turn on notifications. You won't see me again. But if you do like this and you like the fish family, hit that notification bell, and that way you're alerted whenever we get together. Sue Ann said, car related, sorry, I need just a lower control arm bushing for 07 Infiniti G35X. How can I get it without buying the whole thing? Look on rockauto.com, Infiniti, or find an OEM parts dealer website for your car, like InfinityOEMparts.com, something like that. You might be able to find a bushing only. Mr. Fisher says, why is it that every time I go to a website, nearly everything says sold out? Mr. Fisher, it depends on the items. If you're talking about fish, I'm either just sold out of the fish, or they're being held for a certain reason, whether it's weather, if there's any shipping delays that I hear about through other fish channels, I will pull fish off. Or if a fish is having an issue, like if I go through, let's say I go through in my glow light Tetras, which those guys have been rock solid since I got them. Let's say I see an issue with them, and I want to treat them with General Cure or ICX. I will pull them from the website and not sell them until I know they're good. And that's same with like Pluckos. So you might see Pluckos come in and out. Pluckos are hard for me to keep track of because all my tanks are planted. So I try to update inventory as real time as possible. Because when I bought like the Super Reds are hobbyist bred here locally. I think I bought, it was like 50 or 100 of them. I think it was 50. Might have been 50. I bought 50 of them. Well, I didn't immediately put 50 in the inventory because I don't know if some of them are going to die from switching to my water. So let's say I list 30. Well, over a year, maybe some of them died and I just don't see it because some of the tanks are so densely planted that I just don't even see the Pluckos. And I can go show you guys what I'm talking about. So that's why most wholesalers or fish sellers in general keep bare bottom tanks and or very limited things inside the tank, so A, it's easier to catch fish, but B, it's easy for them to see the fish because these fish disappear. Now, if you're talking about products on the website, hard goods, a lot of the stuff is just sold out, or I can't get a hold of it. And then the past like 2 or 3 weeks, hard goods sales have been going up and up. It seemed like everybody was kind of holding off. I don't know if it was like tax season and then like the tax return hits, but I've just been selling out of products like crazy. And I try to keep everything in stock, but stuff's just moving right now, which is awesome. But it's definitely hard. It's very expensive to do these wholesale orders. I try to limit myself so I don't bankrupt myself. I try to limit the maximum amount of per order I do is $800. So let's say my minimum order I have to do is $500. I will go up to $800. But when you're talking about $800 and I have like 50 different products, actually I think I'm up to like 140 different products and variants right now. I had to spread out that $800 over everything. So I try to keep what sells quickly the most in stock. But in general, when I order stuff, it might only be 2 quantities of each thing versus, there's big companies that order 5 cases. But if you're trying to find something, I think I mentioned this last live stream, on the website there is a function now. Whenever you go to a product and it's out of stock, a little blue box will pop up. It'll say notify me when it's back in stock. Click that. You just type in your email address. It doesn't spam you stuff. It's like a separate function of the website. And as soon as I put that product back into stock, it notifies you. So if there is something specifically you're waiting for, I know right now the Vienna Guppies, there's a list of people. I can see what products are on demand. So that's another thing is if there's something you really want, you should do it because it also helps me know, like, man, these Vienna Guppies, there's 52 people that want these. I need to bust butt and get more of these breeding. That's why I want these rainbows to go back to Mike, and I'm going to put Viennas in this tank and give them 55 gallons to breed out and just get that much more going. But, yeah. Vanya there with the 614 super chat. Thank you so much. He said, awesome. I was 99.9% sure that it would go right on to what you had described. So glad it worked out. Yeah, and what's funny, Vanyanzer, is that design was basically exactly what I had, except for the one you sent me had those like grooves in it, so it was kind of squared off. Mine was just completely round, but the if you flip the faucet over, or the spout, how I had that like round plastic diffuser in it, that's what my original one had. The new one they sent me, it was all like open. So you were actually super close to what I originally had, and it's unfortunate that my original part is discontinued, but super close. But thanks for the super chat. He said, it feels great to be able to repay someone when they share their knowledge with knowledge that one has. It was my pleasure to be able to help. Oh, I appreciate you, man. Globe Gaming said, same here in Colorado. Cray weather. It was super crazy. I know Oddball Aquatics said in Indiana they had the same thing. They got a bunch of snow, and then come that night, it was all gone. And that sucks because with shipping, I honestly didn't know it was going to snow. I knew it was going to get cold, so I held shipping on Tuesday, but I didn't know. When I woke up and it was snowing, I'm like, man, I'm glad I didn't ship out anything Monday night or Tuesday. Everything went out Wednesday when it warmed back up. Von Yenzer said that weather messed with me here in Pittsburgh as I was planning on breaking down my white cloud tank and moving them to the outdoor pond. And now I have a 150 in the middle of the living room. Yeah, my pond, I haven't set it back up. I mean, there's still water in it. It's green water right now, and I haven't moved any fish out there yet just because this weather's been up and down. Patsy Conroe, the $20 super chat. That's my mom, guys. And thank you so much for the super chat, and thank you so much for agreeing to watch the dogs tomorrow. But thanks so much. Globe Gaming said, at Von Yenzer, any tips for white clouds? I really want some to try and breed and overall just experience them. Von Yenzer, that's a good question for you. I know a lot of people locally are breeding white clouds out in like outdoor tubs and ponds. So I don't think they're that hard to breed. So that may be something definitely to look into. Jim Williamson. Hey, Steven, how is your wood this week? Sales good? Haha. The wood is still currently wrapped in plastic and it's doing good. But yeah, doing good. Greg said, will you be getting any pigment quarries in stock sometime? So, yes, funny story about that was my buddy Mike, who's, I think in the chat, I saw somebody tag him. He wanted some, so I special ordered pygmy quarries. Well, when I got the order, they were pygmy habrosus quarries. So I thought it was a misship. Well, it turned out they didn't have pygmies, so it was more of a mislabel. So they sent me the pygmy habrosus. No big deal. I still sell them. So I'm hoping to get some pygmy quarries here soon. I did find another wholesaler that I'm interested in trying some of their shrimp out, mainly because I need to set up more and more shrimp tanks. I'm running out of shrimp quicker. I'm selling them quicker than I can breed them, so I need more tanks. Instead of splitting mine off and having to wait for those to recuperate the new colonies, I want to just keep the ones I have going and then bring in more shrimp and get those colonies going. So there's a company that I want to bring in some more shrimp, and with that, they also have fish that I want to bring in some fish. So they're in hot demand, and I had a request for clown killies. I haven't had clown killies in a long time, but I've had a request for those, so I'm going to try to get some clown killies in too. Let me keep moving down. I think I'm catching up. Trying. Matt F said, also consider hitting that join button and supporting the channel. Yes, that would be also appreciated. I'd rather have you guys become a member. It's $4.99 a month versus doing a super chat. I appreciate both. I just feel like you get a little bit more out of becoming a member, and the fact that members get extra discount on the website. It's not much. I think the standard discount's 10% if you use the discount code YouTube. But every month, the members get a new discount code, and it's 15% off. So just help you guys out. And if you spend $100, that extra discount pays for your membership. So it's kind of just a way for me to give back while you guys are also helping the channel. So I appreciate you guys. All right, let me try to get to the bottom. Alright, I think I'm at the bottom. Alright, cool. Chevy Fish said 39 degrees here this coming Sunday night and 81 this Monday. Yeah, it's been rough, and that's really crappy for shipping, especially when you have the 30s to 80s. Like, that swing is horrible to where you want to run extra heat packs when it's in the low 40s, but those heat packs, if you run extras and then you're in the 80s and then you're in a truck, the truck could get hotter than the 80s. It's rough. I wish the temperature could just be a steady 75 degrees every single day, and I would be happy. Or like 85, but no humidity. But I know my fish room, the temperature swing in the fish room was just over 10 degrees today. So I thought about mentioning that like in an upcoming video with people that are so locked on temperature, making sure everything's perfect. My temperature in the fish room, especially spring and fall, fluctuates quite a bit, but today was a 10-degree fluctuation. And what's going on with that is right now I'm using my dehumidifier to heat the fish room. So the dehumidifier is getting off heat, that's how it works. And I don't have the actual heater in the fish room right now because the dehumidifier generates enough heat that's keeping it warm. But the dehumidifier, since the pump's broken, I had to manually empty the bucket. Well, overnight it filled up and it turned off. So when I went out there this morning, the fish room was like house temperature was like 68 degrees, which everything out there does fine. And then I emptied it and then went to work. When I got home, because that dehumidifier ran all day and also it warmed up during the day, it was like 78 degrees when I got home from work. So the tanks do see temperature swings that are not quick swings. It takes it a while to get up there, but I never like specifically target. And the only thing that's really targeted is tanks like this that have a heater in it, and to set and kind of forget, and then just I do check it with a thermometer to make sure like nothing's going wrong. And then if I happen to like move a plant, I stick my arm in there, I can tell like, oh, this seems a little bit cooler than normal. But that's why I like heating the fish room. I know I have a thermometer right on the wall, so I can see exactly what room the temp is, and that's all I need to know. So if the room's 80, then I know the tanks are probably around 78. So they're usually about 2 degrees cooler than what room temp is. And I figure that's probably because of evaporation. You get evaporative cooling. But the tanks are doing good right now, and I'm in the middle of water changing them. Well, actually, I'm almost done water changing. I got one I got to top off still. But I'll probably do that. Well, drinking lighted coffee, I'll probably do that tonight after the live stream. Rescue dog treats. Can you talk about the convict cichlid, temperament, schooling, etc.? Yes, because I have a bunch out in the fish room. Convict cichlids They're kind of like the guppies of the cichlid world. They breed like crazy. I have so many out there, and I have them in tanks that I didn't think I even had them in anymore. I pulled all the ones I thought out. Well, apparently there were still fry in the plants. Um, so as far as temperament, if you got a ton of them, so I had. If you actually go to the website and you go to cichlids, I think it's the only cichlid I have listed. Um, there's a picture. I had 150 of them in my 10-gallon tank. And before you freak out, if you're new here from LFR, you're like, you had 150 cichlids in a 10-gallon. It's a flow-through system, so that water is non-stop exchanged. And the total capacity actually of that 10-gallon tank is 250 gallons, or 260. 200, I think it's 50. 250 gallons is actually what that filtration is. And it's heavily planted system, so nitrates are pretty much usually undetectable. I do add fertilizer to it, but it's heavily planted. When there was 100 or 150 of them in that tank, no issues. No one was fighting. They were just in there and just want fed. And it wasn't until as I was selling them off that the numbers got smaller and smaller, that they started kind of pairing up and fighting with each other. Males would fight, and you would definitely see some aggression between them. They're not. I've never lost any of the cichlids due to fighting, so they're not like super aggressive, but they will spar for sure. Um, but they're very good parents. And that's what it comes down to is when they're ready to breed. That's when they get really kind of aggressive. As far as schooling, they're not really schooling. So they're in my 55, which I'm pretty sure that tank covered in algae. I usually don't scrape any tanks because I have snails and they keep them clean for me. Well, the cichlids will kill snails. So I did have ram's horns in that tank, and after a while, the cichlids killed the snails, which was the same experience I had with blue acars. Was it the blue acars? It was either blue acars or the polar convicts. Anyways, so what happens is in the 55 that they're in, they kind of set up a breeding site, and one might have kind of dug out next to a rock. One might be, I have a big ball of Christmas moss in that tank, and they might make like a little hole in the moss, but they basically guard their nest and or their little territory, whatever you want to call it, and they don't kill fish that come up to them. It's only cichlids in that tank, the convicts. But if a fish comes up to it, the male will dart out, and it basically just darts, and the other one goes away. And then it goes back, the next one comes up, it darts, chases it away. But they're very, very, very prolific, so if you're trying to breed them, yes, they'll breed for you. I know I sent a bunch to Texas Fish Room, and they were like immediately breeding for him, and he actually said from you they breed like crazy. This I don't know if they're all like that, but this is my only experience with the black convict cichlid. These guys are like guppies. They are insane. I just always find fry, and they're in. I have some baby convicts which I know they gotta get pulled out in with some rainbow fish right now, and they leave each other alone. But eventually, those convicts will be too big, and I'm afraid they'll pick on the rainbows, and that's not what I want to happen. And they start off as fry. They were just little itty bitty fry that were hidden in some moss, and now there's more and more, and it's basically, um, yeah, it's basically just non-stop with them. Got a new member, Greg. Welcome to the Fish Hobbyist. So I had originally, when I set this up, I had the tier system because when you go set up membership, YouTube says you should have tiers, and they want you to have 5 tiers. So I named them like Fish Hobbyist, Fish Expert, Fish whatever. I just needed some names. And then I was like, you know what, I don't like the multiple tiers, because I think I did like 5, 10, and $20 or something like that. I just want everything to be on a level playing. I don't want this person to get more benefits than this person, because even at $4.99 a month, I appreciate it so much that I feel like everybody that's helping us support in that way gets the same stuff no matter what. But thanks, Greg, for becoming a member. I appreciate it. I'm trying to read. I'm getting distracted. I'm just trying to see what else. Okay, I think I'm at the bottom. All right, I'm at the bottom. So yeah, I pretty much covered everything I wanted to talk about. I think the new 614 products coming soon, which will be the root tabs, the salt, and the decapsulated brine shrimp. Um, oh, the other fish that was breeding. So the guppies, the L107s, and the Barbatus put some eggs out earlier today. So let's go walk around. I think it's time that we go take a little walksies and see what's up in the fish room. Hopefully nothing's crazy has happened. I would show you the pleco eggs in there, but you won't be able to see them. Um, maybe you'll be able to see them. I don't know. Let's go take a walk. All right, well, the eggs are still here, so that's a good sign. So there's the eggs on the glass. So I have been pulling these guys. There's one of the Barbatus Quarries. If you guys don't know, apparently they found out, but the Metalhead Primes, they bought an axolotl. And I'm going to tell you the story why I sit here in front of Havana. They bought an axolotl, and it's doing great. I think they wanted two for their daughter. They only got one. And Josh Price, OFR, reached out to me if I still had these axolotls. If I was breeding them, he wanted to buy some babies to be able to give to the metalheads. I said they are breeding, but I haven't been trying to breed them because I'm just not set up for axolotl care right now with the individual tubs or totes or containers. I'm not trying to do all that right now. I just was giving these guys a better home. And so we kind of talked, and what the plan was, I was going to bring them up and surprise them with the two axolotls I have. They're not designer ones. They're what's called a wild type. So they're just like the grayish black body with like kind of the white spots on them. And at first you might think that they have fungus, but it's actually just the wild type genetics. Is just kind of different pattern, I guess, or coloration. So the reason I'm telling you guys this, and I'll probably do a video of this tomorrow morning, because I've been basically fasting them all week, and I'll put them in a bucket with the sponge filter that's in their tank right now, and that way it's a fully cycled sponge filter, and they'll be just fine. But they're going to a new home, to the maleheads. Anyways, I bring that up because of the Barbatus Quarries. I'm going to transfer the Barbatus Quarries to the axolotl tank. The Barbatus Quarries are in a 10-gallon, like half-moon tank, or bow-front tank, I mean. And the axolotls are in 20-gallon long, so it's double the gallons, but the footprint's like 3 times as big. So that's a good upgrade for the Barbatus. They'll be way more happy in that tank than that 10-gallon. And I have no problem upgrading a fish tank. I would never downgrade a fish. So I wouldn't take the Barbatus and go from a 20 long to a 10-gallon. But going from a 10 to a 20, and it's the footprint that they like, it's going to be the perfect home for them. So there will be some tank inhabitant rearranging here soon. I'll probably move the axolotls, and then I won't put the Barbatus in there right away. I'll probably do a water change, and I need to kind of de-duckweed the axolotl tank. I let the duckweed go because it's helping pulling nitrates out of the water, and that means less water changes on my part. So I let it go crazy, and it keeps the light really low, which is what axolotls like. Well, the plants, I got Nubius and Crypts in there. It's super low light to begin with, and then when you add the duckweed on top, it gets even lower light. But anyways, that's what's going on with that. The breeding group of the emerald green Quarries and salt and pepper, which is the Paliatus Quarry, I'm selling those to my buddy Mike. So they're like jumbos, the biggest corridors I've ever seen. he's buying them from me, and he's going to continue breeding them. They need a bigger tank. They're in a 14-gallon, and they really need like a 20 long or even a bigger tank because they're jumbos. And so he's actually buying them, so he's going to give them a bigger tank, and he'll continue breeding them, which I'll probably just end up buying them back from him once he breeds them. That tank will probably become a nano tank. I'll probably maybe do some shrimp, and then also probably move some Phoenix Rasboras into it that stay small, and get some movement in that tank, because it's a good display tank, but those Corridors just kind of chill. They're real active at night, but during the day they just kind of hide under the driftwood. So they need a bigger tank to be happy. So that's going to be good. The 25-gallon Fluval tank that's out here that has the pea puffer, that pea puffer is going to go into a 29 out in the fish room with some panda Quarries and a bunch of ram's horns. So he's going to move out to the fish room, and that just leaves some guppies in here. And I'm just kind of waiting until I put my pond back up for the summer, and then the guppies that are in that tank are going to move out to the pond. And that tank, I believe Mr. Melhead Prime wants to buy it, so I will be selling it to him. And then, so that'll be 2 tanks I can get rid of out of this room that I'm in right now. And they're kind of like non-standard tanks. It's a nice Fluval 25. And then that bow front, it's just a random bow front 10-gallon. I like to have the standardized look, I guess, going on. So let's move on to the fish room. Enough of my squirreling. Trying to see if there's really nothing in this rack system that's new, but I guess I could show you guys. So here's the Bosemani pair. I don't know if I have these on the website, but that's the Bosemani pair. And the ram's horns. Oh, there's a ginormous ram's horn. Where is he? This guy. This guy is at least the size of a quarter, and there's another one right there. These are the Eric Roberts rainbow fish, or Robertson. But yeah, that ram's horn is ginormous. He probably doesn't look that big, but he is massive, guys. Here's a lone picta. This guy actually needs to go out to the fish room with his buddies. There's some Barbatus Fry in there somewhere. They're probably hidden. There's also Barbatus in this tank. Usually if I tap it, you'll be able to see Sam move. Oh, right there. I didn't even see him. Oh yeah, he's looking good. So that's from the eggs I've been pulling, and there's some down here. Here's the Dwarf Sagittarius. If you guys buy that, I was selling it potted, but it's been growing like crazy and shooting runners. So now I'm harvesting the runners. And somebody bought some this week, and they bought like 3 plants. I ended up sending them like 9 of these plants. So technically that's, that's a plant, so on and so forth. When you buy one, I typically send you 3, just as you guys, a little inside information there. Okay, let's go to the fish room. And I think we're coming up on the hour mark, so we'll go through here real quick. And I made a mistake. As soon as I walked in here, I could smell it. I was trimming some plants, and the trimming's right there, and I did it yesterday. If you guys know, dead plants in a trash can smells horrific. All right, so first tank, what we got in here? These are the neons. Flip you around. Look at these Corridors. These are the color Quarries. Hang on, let me. Hopefully that takes down some of the noise. Color Quarries, aka slate Quarries. These are the only Quarries I've ever seen that will swim midwater. It's pretty awesome. Alright, so you guys know all these tanks probably. Albino Corridoras and CPDs, Celestial Pearl Danios in the back. Those are not for sale. I need to get more. Here's my Emerald Green Quarries. In this tank, they're kind of just, sporadically in there. And then I've been doing this little trick. If you guys ever are trying to grow a good root system on banana plants. So this is a moss ball. This is my Christmas moss. I put the banana plants on top. Sorry, I know reflection stuff, guys. Maybe... See these roots? The banana plants are shooting these long roots to try to get to substrate. So if you're trying to grow a substrate, if you're trying to grow a good root system, put the plants kind of up top, but don't let them just free float. Try to hold them. So I'm using this moss to hold them, and they make these really long roots, which is awesome for when you guys replant. These are the Vienna Guppies, and there's some Harlequin rasboris in the background. And these are the gold laser corridors. They're looking awesome. Those should be on the website. So if anybody's looking for gold laser corridors, they're on the website. Oh, guys, remember how I was talking about that Pleco cave? This is that tank. And look at that. There's one of the Plecos. That's the female. Oh, look at that. We got 2 in there. That's a good sign. Awesome. I just did that right before the live stream. I angled it so I could see in there. But this tank's full of the glow light tetras, and these guys are breeding size. So I'm interested to see if I start getting anything from them. If you notice the air's off of that, I just turned it off to make the noise quieter. Here's those green crypts I was telling you guys about that are on the website now that I just totally forgot. They've been sitting in here because of my mistake. I brought them in, and you know, they're fully converted, and they're just getting bigger and bigger, and you know, there's multiple plants, and they're on the website. This thing is becoming kind of a jungle. This Christmas moss is going like crazy. The water is super cloudy because of the water change, but there's diamond tetras in there. There's also salt and pepper quarries in here, the Barbatus. They're in that moss. You won't be able to see them right now. This is my mixed guppy tank. Some stunners in there. You know, this is the mutt guppies. So if you buy mutt guppies, this is the one of the tanks that they come from. Zebra Danios in this tank, and there is 1 or maybe 2 Plecos in there. And this is the ram's horn tank, and this has quarry catfish in here. There's a panda quarry right there. You guys can see him right there. Sometimes they're hard to find. Alright, what did I come out here for? Oh, convict. So, not that tank, this tank. So we got some rainbows in this tank. But here's the convicts. You know, there were baby fry, and there's definitely some what's called runners. So you got baby fry in the back, and you got these bigger guys in the front. And at this size, you know, they're leaving the rainbows alone, but eventually they do need to come out. But unfortunately, there's also convicts in this tank again. I thought I pulled them all out, but there's just too much hiding spots for them. And these tanks are just, they're packed full of plants. Like there's some fish. This is the Parkinsonii. These are the ones I've been breeding. They're getting bigger. I put my mops in this tank. Ton of vegetation for them to hide. And yeah. So anyways, the lights are off, so that kind of sucks for this. But here's the pearlweed I was talking about. So when you order pearlweed on the website, this is where it's coming from. This tank right here. And it's nice and thick. I was pushing on it earlier. That's why there's this water. I was trying to get a picture of, you know, it in and out of the water, but you know, it's thick stuff. So if you order pearlweed, that's where it's coming from. Not to be confused with duckweed. And there's some pearlweed in this tank in the back. I've been putting in really random tanks. What we got here? This tank is empty over here. This is just a shrimp tank. You can see some shrimp in here. Some shrimp down here, not very many. This is a blue tank. There's a blue one right there looking good. Oh, there's a baby. So they are breeding, it just takes a while to get the colony going. Alright. I head back in that way I can hop back in the... Oh, let me turn the air back on. Don't want to forget that. Alright, air's back on. Alright, guys. Sorry if you had any questions. I will get to them. Oh, let me show you these beasts. Maybe. And there is algae on the glass. You should have seen this tank the other week. You couldn't even see in it. Ram's horns are starting to catch up, but these guys are beasts. I mean, they're big. Ginormous. So that's the Barbatus. That's the emerald. That's an emerald. That's a Barbatus back there. The other emerald. But they've been breeding in here. I just don't really pull the eggs. I should. I just haven't had time, I guess. Alright. Get back in here and we'll wrap this up. Okay. Oh, crap. Trying to break you guys. Trying to be gentle. My little holder thing's already broken. Alright, sorry about that. Alright. Mike says, can't wait to get your big corridors. Yes, I'm excited for you because I know that you will be breeding the crap out of them. And that will save me some trouble and I'll just buy them from you. Alright. Oh, the stream looks like crap. I hope it's coming through to you guys better than it is here. Oh, it's just on the wrong quality setting. Alright. I'm back. Squirrel. How am I not seeing him talking? Who, me? Am I not talking? Doesn't smell as bad as dead snails or fish in a trash can. Snails are the worst. I will agree. Plants, just rotting vegetation, just does not smell good, but snails are the worst. Vinians are said, what are those large quarry cats again? The Barbatus, which is a salt and pepper, which I've never seen them this big, guys. I even reached out to Jeremy Bash to confirm the species because they are massive. He said they are Barbatus. They are. I will confirm with my measuring device. I would say they're 2.5 inches long, which, you know, when fish, you hear like a 2-inch fish or 3-inch fish. These guys are thick, like they're massive, and you know, maybe they're almost 3 inches, but they're at least probably 2.5. But one's the Barbatus, the other one's the emerald green corridors, the common green cory. That's how big they can get. So maybe these guys are really old, but either way, they're fed heavily. So yeah. Those look a lot like my 614 Guppy. That's what they are, buddy. Those are the 614 Guppies. Alright. Where am I? Xanadu, what's going on, buddy? Glad to see you here. Pearlweed. Yes, pearlweed. Pearlweed question mark. Hopefully that was just about seeing the pearlweed, but I did show it. Matt F., thank you for dropping the link to the pearlweed. Grown like weed. Yeah, ever since I started floating it, that pearlweed has done wonders. It's just when the light's on it, it looks awesome. It really does. Check out the website. He did post a link. Can I click this without? Yes. So if you click it, click that link and you'll see what it looks like with the light on. It's super green. It looks, I think it looks amazing. But yeah. Okay, let me get back. IHSP with the 614 super chat. Thank you so much. With all the little heart emojis and the, is that a hug or something? I appreciate you. Matt F with the 614 super chat. Thank you so much, guys. Spilled bloodworms smell so gross. I have not spilled them. And you know what? I think I've left them. So usually I will throw bloodworms, the whole cube into the tank. I let it float and it kind of thaws and spreads out in the tank. It's great. But when I'm target feeding, especially the pea puffer, I will put cubes in a little glass, shot glass, and I'll set it out on the counter. That way it can thaw out, and I can use tweezers to spot feed the puffer. And I'm pretty sure I've at least once or not twice forgotten about them, and they sat out overnight, not to where I could smell them in the house, but I walked up, I'm like, oh, I left these out, and picked it up and smelled them, like, oh yeah, those are not good. Ev said, sorry I forgot the hearts in mine. Well, that's what makes IHSP so special. Mickey says, am I false in my statement? Is that emerald not Brocus splendens? It's the emerald Brocus. So if you search emerald, it should be emerald catfish. Let me... Yeah, emerald Brocus, Brocus, if I'm even saying that right. Catfish, aka the Corridor Splendens. School of 3 of them sells at Aquatic Arts for 38 doll hairs. So yeah, I call them the Emerald Cory, but it's the Emerald Brocus. If I'm saying that right. Terrible at fish names. This is the worst hobby if you suck at pronouncing fish names or any names. Why are you not in Ohio? Who's not in Ohio? NEC Virtual Convention. What's NEC? I don't even know what NEC is. Northeastern Chicago? Northeastern... Yeah, I don't know what that is. Alright, well anyways guys, I think LRB just went live. I'm pretty sure I just saw that. Thank you for the super chats tonight, guys. Thank you for the new member. I believe that was Greg. Let me double check, I don't want to mess that up. Greg is the new member. I will be at Ohio Fish Rescue tomorrow, so maybe a live stream. No guarantees, because usually things get a little... not PG rated with our conversations as far as like cussing and stuff. So I might not be able to go live, but maybe I will. Who knows? Anyways, thank you guys so much for your continued support. You guys are awesome. Thanks for wrapping up my awesome week. It's been a good week. So I'll see you guys next Friday. If not, maybe this weekend, or maybe I'll do a members only live stream from OFR, because the members only is a 21 and up deal where cussing, it's not going on the main channel. So that's maybe another perk becoming a member. Maybe we'll do a little behind the scenes live stream at OFR tomorrow for members, if I can figure out how to make that work on my phone. Anyways guys, thank you so much. Let me get ready. Squirrel Aquatics out. But thank you guys so much. I'll see you later. Appreciate you guys.